We have a motion to open the meeting, a first. Alex, a second. Lisa, all in favor? Okay, pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is open to all, but the specific topic we are looking to discuss is the future of the Arts Department. We are here to listen to the thoughts and ideas and recommendations brought forward by the Arts Booster Club. Please understand that all the usual restrictions regarding public comment apply. This is not the forum for any comments regarding students or staff. Should you wish to raise any issues on these topics, please submit them to the superintendent. Thank you. All right, let's start off. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for having us. I didn't know what this forum was going to be like, so we prepared a sort of a statement, and then we could just talk casually. But I'll just...
Great, sounds good.
Okay, so thank you all for being here, and on behalf of the Arts Booster Club of Cold Spring Harbor Schools, we want to thank you for the opportunity to have this meeting to address the topic of the arts in our district. We appreciate you taking the time and having the open-minded spirit to begin a new, fresh dialogue on this subject. We think we can all agree that there is one thing that unites everyone in this district, students, parents, administration, and board members alike, and that thing is an unwavering commitment to excellence. In the mission statement of the Cold Spring Harbor Educational Foundation, it clearly states the corporation was created to raise funds to ensure the legacy of excellence in our public schools. The official motto of our very own district athletics department is a commitment to excellence, which speaks to the standard our talented athletes are held to. It's hard not to drive through the campus of the junior-senior high school and not observe some banner or sign that speaks loudly and proudly to this creed of our schools. So it should only logically follow that a creed of excellence and a commitment to it by our district should infiltrate every sector of our students' lives, not just some in particular. And if the bedrock foundation of our school's reputation was built on the achievements in the academic and athletic sectors, it only begs the question, why not build this mountain of achievement even broader and higher than before? But where, what, and how? We are here today to present our conviction to you that an opportunity is at hand. A unique opportunity to make the arts at Cold Spring Harbor, over time, every bit as relevant as those fields in the district that are firmly and strongly established. In order to do this, we have to assess what's already been done, what hasn't been done, and the lessons we might all learn from mistakes that may unintentionally been made in the past. We are privileged to have a beautiful state-of-the-art performing arts center, affectionately known in the district as the PAC. Brand new lighting and sound boards the Board of Ed recently invested in are fully set up in the control room, patiently waiting to be properly used by trained, capable hands. Multiple productions take place in this space every year. Yet, strange things happen in the course of these productions. Sometimes the sound goes out entirely right in the middle of a singer's beautiful solo. Often, the imbalanced sound controls generate a cacophony of noise that drives those in attendance to clench their ears, wincing in pain. This is something we've all grown frustratingly used to, but most likely shouldn't have. Sometimes the lights go on, sometimes they don't. When they fail to go on at all, children are in danger of slipping off the stage, not to be able to see where the cliff off to the abyss of the floor below is. Sometimes curtains don't open. Sometimes misplaced or misoperated sets cause students to get injured. Sometimes staff, missing or not trained properly in how to manage all these moving parts, lose their cool. And sometimes students get hurt. These problems aren't new, but what we do know is that they are untenable. A group of dedicated parents have banded together to tackle them head on. We are unified in our conviction that our kids deserve better, our district deserves better, nothing less. And because we all know what better is. We've seen it on the fields and in the classrooms of our schools for years. We know what our district is capable of when together we set our minds to create something great. And we know what is within reach when dedicated parents and administrators and Board of Ed members work in tandem to generate new educational goals, some of which are only possible in this unique playing field we call the arts. And on that note, I'm honored to see the podium to my dear friend Shelley Williams. Shelley, we are so lucky to have this woman in our community. She has decades of experience as a leader in the field of professional musical theater, and she will talk to you specifically about solutions that we can make so that our, I'll say solutions for how to make our vision of excellence in the arts at Cold Spring Harbor what is ultimately possible, a potential future reality. So, thank you.
Thanks, Trish. Thanks everybody for having us here. It is been a long wanted dream to be in conversation. In my world, it is all about collaboration. All we do is get around the table and talk about solutions and solve problems and look at things that once feel impossible and create the possibility for making them possible. I am a Broadway director. I have worked on 5 Broadway shows both as an actor and a director. I have been in the business for 33 years. So I know this industry inside and out. I'm also a best-selling children's book author. So the world of storytelling is my world. And I was so excited to come to Cold Spring Harbor and, coming from Brooklyn, where our school didn't even have any kind of an auditorium. We didn't even have a gym. We had to go across the street to another facility. And we did our dance programs on the street outside. They blocked off the street. So to come here and see all that was available for the arts was very exciting. To see the course offerings and our extracurriculars was really exciting. As we went from the elementary school, which has a very comprehensive integration of all the kids play instruments and the 5th and 6th grade musicals are done so well, that when you get to junior high, it felt like there was a real drop-off. And then when you got to high school, it wasn't even a plateau. It was the kids that were almost as good as they were in the 4th grade. And there wasn't any increase in their ability to tell a story, in their sustaining their notes in a way that I would expect these young people to be performing. I work with high school students. I coach the Jimmy Awards, which is the best of performing arts kids throughout the country. I work at university levels. I was an adjunct at NYU Tisch School. So I have taught at every level, and I see kids and coach kids at the high school level all the time. And so I know what medium is, I know what is below medium, and I know certainly what our kids are capable of. We have a lot of infrastructure in our school that's just not properly utilized. And I'm talking very specifically in the theater, and I would say department, but we don't have one, right? We have someone who directs a show, but the mechanisms even within that are definitions that I don't even recognize. So we want to be in conversation with you about how we can strengthen this program. And I will first ask you, what is your vision for students who are artistic in this district?
Well, I would think that we probably all feel like we want them to, like you were saying, not be low or medium. We want them to be, as you said, excellent. We want people to be talking about our plays, wanting to come to our plays. We want the kids to be happy. We want them to be able to tell a story. We want them to be excited to go to theater, whether it's for, like you said, an extracurricular, or if it's for a play, whatever it is. And of course, we want all of our infrastructures to be used properly. So, we're really excited to hear your suggestions.
That's great. Is there any 5-year vision? Is there any kind of there is the portrait of a student that New York State put out in 2025. In the portrait of an artist from K through 12, are there metrics that you have insisted that we want to see this accomplished by this for our teachers? We want to see our students be able to have these opportunities with internships and scholarships available to them. What are I look at this, because I do this for, as a business for my life, there are artistic standards. So I just want to know from an educational perspective, what are the artistic standards that you are holding up any of your educators to inside,
Well, we would hope that our administration is holding them to the highest standards as a teacher, but I also don't want it to be something where kids feel they're not good enough to be part of the arts. So
Yeah.
you don't want to be too hard on the way to, saying, oh, you're not doing well with this, you're not doing well with that, right? So, I know my own daughter plays the trumpet, and she's always embarrassed that she says she's one of the worst players in the band, but she has fun, and to
Yeah.
me, that's what it's about, right? So, you know, I would say that the standards for a theater, a music, whether it be band, you know, orchestra, chorus, would be the same standards we'd have for academics. We would want them to strive for excellence. You know, some kids just don't have it. Like, I could never sing. My parents would tell me, please stop. So it's just, sometimes it's just, you are born with that talent, like an athlete, right? But we have to try to incorporate everyone, whether they have the talent or not. So I don't necessarily know if there's a specific, you know, in terms of the play, I guess it's a little different than maybe looking at a band student, right? Or an orchestra student. It's very different, I think. I mean, you know, have a lot more experience in that. But I would say that our academic standards, which we want to strive for excellence, would be the same across the board.
Well, and I agree that the open enrollment we have open enrollment for AP classes, so making sure that the arts are open to everyone is important, but also I think what we need to look at and try to figure out how to make this more of an appealing program for students is that drop-off, right? Why is there that drop-off? Because there's a marked drop-off. The kids who are loving the shows in 6th grade are coming into the junior high, right? And saying, well, no one does the shows anymore. I can't do the shows, you know, and we've talked about this, like I was in every play possible until I went to high school, and then I was singing too much to be in the, like, there's just too many, you gotta pick things at some point, but, I mean, I'd still jump up on that stage today, but, the, kids, they're not losing that passion for being on the stage. They're coming into the junior high, and for some reason, whether it's social, schedule sometimes too, just there's only so many things you can do, but how can we make it so that that's available to kids, so that we're getting that bigger population of kids to do the shows too, to keep the talent, the interest, the audience attendance, all of these things that make for a robust theater program. You and I talked the other day, and I remember coming to a show maybe 7 or 8 years ago at the high school, and it was outstanding. What a production that was. And I think it has fallen off, and you've talked about this for years. Why is it that people are going, like the senior citizens are going to other towns to watch shows at other schools, and they used to come here to see our shows? So what can we do? And I think hearing you say there are these rubrics that we should be talking to our administration and our teams about. We've got experts here who can talk to you about that. Also, we don't tell them what their rubrics should be, but we say to them, what do you think we should be doing? But we also should be coming to experts in the community to say, how does this reflect what you're seeing kids in other schools do?
Yeah.
Too, right?
Yeah.
I think we also wanted, I'm sorry, Mark. We wanted
To answer your question, I'm not aware of any standards or metrics. You're speaking my language. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there.
1000%.
Also, at the last board meeting, I said parents often come to complain, but they don't come to participate. So thank you for coming, because we don't know what we don't know. If you have an area of expertise and you come and you put forth ideas, that's how they get adopted. I don't know if this has been going on for a while. Frankly, I don't know why we haven't seen you before, because
I directed 2 Broadway shows. I was a little busy.
Not you, not you.
I'm
You're
like,
not.
I'm the expert in the room,
Not
and I was a
you.
little busy.
But, you know, we hear like, oh, this has been going on for a while. Well,
Yeah.
I'm always 2 ears open.
I've been here.
Yeah.
I haven't heard, though, these issues.
She completely
I
shut
heard
down.
one
And Alex was in the
Sandra's
meeting.
come to meetings
about
before
this.
you've been on the
Oh,
board.
before I was on the
And
board.
also a CPC, she's a.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it hasn't gotten to my ears, because when I hear of a problem, it's frustrating, because it shouldn't be happening. I don't know why, and we need more goals, we need more metrics, we need the right people in the right seats. So that's what I'm here to learn about, is what we're doing wrong, what we need to do differently, And I'll turn it over, you were gonna say
If
something.
I just want to add back to what something Kate had said, I think we also want to tease out those who don't have that natural ability.
Yeah,
Because there are plenty of kids who don't know, or they're, I didn't know I was tone deaf until I met my wife. I thought I was fine, but that's fine, I will still sing in a car with her, and that's okay. So, but that's, I think, give them that love of music and arts and whatever they may not be able to produce or sing or do all these other components, but they could still appreciate or have a different role in it. They don't need to be this main person on the stage. So if we could support them there, I would love to do that.
I think, you know, one of the things I can tell you is your students are your best ambassadors. So one of the things with, you know, the Music Man cast, I will say one of the good things that came out of that show is that the cast has gotten incredibly close. And they are bonded almost like a gang, right? And I said to them, you know, you have a real opportunity here to create community with both the junior high, with West Side and Lloyd Harbor. And this is how you build a theater department. And so I was sharing with them something that Broadway shows do is when you open a show, every show on Broadway sends you a note that gets like put up on the call board that's like, break a leg, we're so proud of you, and everybody signs it, and it's such a sweet thing. So this year, the Music Man cast did a sign to Grease with all the cast signed it that just said break a leg. It's a small thing, but it's a way to say, you're gonna be one of us next year, right? And so next year, we'll have the junior high do that for the elementary school
What's it
kids.
called?
So
The
you're
sign
building,
Sign to cast.
just to sign the cast, it just says break a leg, and everybody signs it and writes little notes if they know someone in the cast or whatever. And it's just the way that we continue to create community amongst, you know, the 28 blocks we're all spread out on Broadway. There is a way, because we have 4 different schools that perform in our school, there is a way that you create an arts program that isn't just you go from one to the other, that you really are creating community in these kids with these kids, and you create safe passage for them. A lot of kids come to high school and they feel lost. And arts, you know, the arts program is where they find their community. And making that the safest place possible. There were a couple things that I, you know, pointed out. I'm very happy to say that Mr. Dambusky has invited us to do monthly meetings. And so Mr. Dambusky and Ms. Lipensky and Ms. Oswald and Mr. Gorini, we all sit and talk about both the music and the art. And as we will talk about a little bit later, for me, it's about the integration of all of these art forms and all of these clubs that we have, and the actual real world, non-AI taking jobs that are in this industry. And so we have, you know, big conversations about that. What was I talking about before? Dambusky.
The arts,
You were saying integrating.
Oh,
building
sign.
the arts program.
Or programs, the evolution, right, from the.
Broadway, you're talking about Broadway. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember why. I don't remember where I was going.
I would like to just add one thing. I think it's important for us to remember what it was like when we were growing up, and what was important to us, and who were the influential people that made us better. And if we have those kinds of people in the art department, you know, I was an athlete growing up. I was an okay athlete until I got a fantastic coach, and then I was able to play basketball in college. Would I have played had I not? No, I would never have had the opportunity to do that. So one teacher, one shift can really change the trajectory here. And we're not looking for a full right turn. You know, you move a couple inches, and before you know it, 2 miles out, you know how much further you are from where you would have been. So just think about the people that changed your life growing up. What were their attributes? What are the things that we want to instill in the kids? What are the things that we need to look for in the people that are influencing the kids on a day-to-day basis that make them want to come to chorus, that make them want to come back to band, that make them want to play in the orchestra, and continue the love that they have for drawing, singing, whatever.
Yeah.
And then ultimately bringing it all together into one storytelling format. You know, storytelling is one of the most fundamental tribal things that we have as humans, right? It's why there's cave art. It's why music is thousands of years old. Like, it's ingrained in our DNA. So if we can figure out a way where they can tell a story using all of the parts to tell a story, that's what we want in our kids. The creating of costumes, the creating of the sets, the playing of the music, the singing, the camaraderie that it brings ultimately. That's what we want to get out of the department. And
Right, so-
obviously, we
Yeah, so, I mean, I get all that, because I was in productions growing up, in the band, doing sound, the whole crew, and it was incredible, right? So I get all the importance of that. I just saw a YouTube where Billy Joel was talking about one teacher changed his life trajectory in music, and he still is close to that teacher to this day. So that's important. So in terms of what we need to do better as a district, we need, good direction in terms of this is not being done well, this needs to be done better, because honestly, we could be here for 20 hours telling
We could be here,
stories,
yeah.
and we need to know
Like brass tacks, right?
what
So
we're doing
there are a
wrong,
couple things
what we
that
need to
are-
improve.
That are.
But also
just-
how, not just like you're doing it wrong, like we
Yeah,
need
he's
like,
like, well,
we
we
need like a
need
roadmap.
So I just wrote down, I remembered what I was saying. When I sat down with Dan Buskey and we talked about this, I was like, there's a couple of things that you're doing that are like, this is what we've always done, but this isn't the way it's done anywhere else, right? So in the casting process, there is not equity in the way that we cast. We announce a show very, very late. It's like, the show gets announced and then 2 days later auditions. In the professional world,
That doesn't make sense. You need
Yeah.
to get prepared for your audition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what it
I
does
didn't
is
realize
it
that.
advantages all the kids that have singing lessons and are very proficient, and it disadvantages all the kids that might be outliers, who might need a little bit more time to work on it, who might be like on the fence and need some convincing. And I've said to them, in the professional world now, when I do an audition for, whether it's a tour or a Broadway show, what is mandated by the union is that you provide recorded music for multiple roles, you provide the actual sheet music, and you have, I think it's like 10 days notice before anyone can come in.
So
you
they're
have to
not
post.
given music to, like in 6th grade at Lloyd Harbor, they're told, like, learn this song for your audition.
It probably in 6th grade at Little Harbor, they're teaching you the song,
They
which
don't.
is like, they don't?
They're
No.
saying, prepare this song or this song, right?
No.
That's,
Not for elementary school, for.
in Lloyd Harbor they
So
did,
they'll
when
do,
my
like,
daughter was in
they'll
6th
come
grade.
in and
and
they'll
they'll
just-
remember him?
Yeah, well, they'll
Yeah.
just sing and like, you can sing
Yeah,
any
that's-
song
yeah,
and
we
then
did that.
sometimes they'll have callbacks to the specific song.
The other thing that they did that I thought was really beneficial, which I think is lost when you get to junior high, is they had you say how available you were. And if you weren't always available because you played travel sports or you were in an outside other program, they could still find a part for you, so
Yeah.
you could still be in the play. Like Peyton had a singing role in Peter Pan. She was Mrs. Darling, so she had a small song because she played travel hockey. But she
Right.
also loved the theater, and it was so great because she was able to do both
and all of
things.
those accommodations even happen in the professional world,
Right,
right?
and
So
then
that,
we'd get
all
more
of that.
kids participating, because
Yes.
80% of the students also play sports here, which is great.
Right.
But there's a lot of them, actually, 2 out of 3 of my kids have said, I would do the play if I thought I could make
So
it work in
it's
my
about
schedule.
it's about creating the accommodations and knowing how to cast the show properly. So in addition to casting it way too close to the margin and saying to a lot of people, we're not creating opportunities for you, and we're disadvantaging you if you do not have the means to go learn this on your own. So it is, inequitable.
It
the
also
way that we
build
have been doing it.
excitement to know what it was, like if there's a release of all the slate, of all the shows.
Yeah,
ahead of
it
time.
should not be a secret, right? It's like,
Possibility of that too.
when you get the rights,
So is it
announce the
possible
show.
to announce it sooner?
Of course it is.
A lot of schools do like a build-up to it too, like the last couple of schools I've worked in, it's been like, what's the show gonna be? You can guess, and they have like 9
Yeah.
different shows, and then
I
there's
have to
clues,
say, I never
and
understood,
it's fun,
we actually
and.
white out the name of the show in the contract. I never,
We do, yeah.
someone told me why back when okay, I guess,
Yeah.
and that was fine, but it's easy, it's actually less work. We just, here are the shows, and we sign the contract, and everybody finds out.
Like literally, as the president of
June.
the board, you have to say, could somebody tell me what the show is
Yeah,
before I
it
sign
should not-
the
there's no
agreement?
reason
Because
to get
it's that
secretive.
secretive,
Easy.
So
right?
what
Yeah.
I'm hearing is that we should give an earlier notice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we should, you mentioned 10 days before tryout, well, tryout.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a week, it could be, but, yeah, I would say 10 days is a great amount of time.
Well, I
Give
didn't-
kids 2
There's a-
weekends.
There's a
then.
second part to this.
Could I just,
also.
I just want to, it's more
Yeah.
than just knowing the show 10 days. It was provide recorded music and sheet music
Yes.
with
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
least 10 days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is there anything else, please?
So like anybody who wants to audition, you know, whether it's a QR code or whether it's a link, you go to that link, it has all the drop-down links for the music, which is like a shortcut, 16, 32 bars, not a whole song. And maybe if there's like a scene, you choose the scene and you choose the song that best suits you. So if you're an alto, there's an alto song. If you're a soprano, there's a soprano song. If you just want to audition for the ensemble because you're doing a sport, you do the ensemble sides. And I have that, I'm auditioning for the Wiz in 3 weeks, and that's exactly what we have out there. We have all the leads and then an ensemble
So
side.
dialogue and monologues are included as well, just for
Yeah.
extras.
Okay, so Kim's taking copious notes. I am going to come back though and
Yeah.
confirm, we don't have any questions.
We were recording.
Right, but I just want to make, even if there's additional stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
I want to make sure we have it down packed.
Yeah.
Do you think?
No pressure, Kim.
I got it.
I did, you did no pressure, you got it.
Lisa?
Okay, thank you. Do you think there's a preferred way, like, that kids should be informed of auditions? Like, do you think some kids aren't hearing it because it's in morning announcements and kids don't hear it because they're in gym or they're not listening or they're not paying attention, which of course my kid always pays attention, but, you know.
So,
Or should it go to the parents? Should it go to the parents?
I
or
think
kids?
it should go everywhere. I think it should go everywhere.
And is it
How
not,
is it done now?
like, yeah, is it not being done that way?
The school, no, it's not. No, the school announces it like in like a parent square.
Uh-huh.
Now they do,
Yes.
but not before.
Like,
but
when
there's
sports
signs.
tryouts
We
happened,
send
I
out-
must have gotten 1,000
Yeah.
things from
Yeah,
parents.
yeah. No, we don't
Right?
have 1,000, we don't have somebody sending out 1,000.
So maybe that's something, you know.
we don't want 1,000 from the sports.
No, one-
team.
I definitely don't want, I don't want to
1,000
copy, I don't want to
copy
copy that
that
either. But, you know, like current blast, you know, like, so that parents are
Okay.
pushing their kids, like,
We
we like
do.
to sing.
Like we did for Music Man, I think it was on our Instagram
Yeah, I
page.
saw it
We
a
sent
lot.
like, we
Yeah.
saw it, we send it.
But
everywhere.
I
But I don't
think,
necessarily know if I saw additions.
We were putting it in the story for, I think, like 5 days.
Yeah,
and
like we were having a
the
countdown.
only- The only
We were
amount of time
too
that
close,
we knew
but you're
that.
saying it was
Right.
too
And
close.
there's
too
a
close,
huge
because we
sign
didn't
in the
have-
end
yeah.
of the
Oh,
driveway.
well, let's talk
Yeah,
about
we
that.
can
now.
see that,
like,
We
with
can talk about
everyone.
that
Yeah.
sign.
what I think is important beyond just like,
Anyway.
your group, your parents are looking there, it's those students who may not naturally be the
Exactly.
theater
Right.
kids. Those are the ones we need to make sure
Yeah.
we reach out. It can be posted on a canvas, you can't help but see it, other
Right.
than click
It
close.
could be on the
It's
doors.
simple.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
what we've identified
There's many ways.
is that it
Okay.
needs to be wide, you know,
Yeah.
more broadly circulated, right?
And in addition to that,
Oh, I'm sorry, one other thing I was gonna say is, I also think that because all the 6th graders will have done the shows before, it should be assumed that they will all want to do the shows again, and maybe in that 6th grade welcome to the school packet are the dates of the play and the musical. So the children, from the very beginning, know that this is available to them.
And maybe have the ambassadors of the older.
I was gonna say, I love the idea of having student ambassadors, and I
Yeah.
think, you know, kids they'll look up to those kids.
Yeah.
And I love that the kids in Music Man wrote to the kids in Greece, but now they've done Greece. What if, you know, and they're done, what if the kids who did Music Man come down to, you know, have a meeting, like, anybody interested in theater next year, come meet us, you know, like, we'll come down to Lloyd Harbor, and we'll, you know, and stay for half an hour, and you can ask us questions about the theater program, you know, and West Side as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
You
That's
know,
what
to get those kids to even, the sixth graders to get to know some of those older kids so they even feel comfortable, you know, go, like, that's where I wanna be next
Right.
year.
And I know those people.
Exactly,
I-
exactly, like, I
they're
know
my
Layla
friends now.
Abadano,
So,
she's pretty
yeah,
cool,
The
like.
one thing we also got is we got the Music Man kids to be on the crew for both Grease and Lion King.
Oh.
And that was, Cinderella had already happened. But they did, and so those, it was so funny, I think we were in the school and my daughter Sasha worked on Lion King and one of the littles came up and was like, Sasha, and she's like, I did your makeup. You know, it's so
Yeah.
cute to see that little girl have that connection. And that's the kind of thing that you want to happen. You want someone to know, when I get to the big high school, I know this person,
I
right?
have friends.
Creating
Yes.
community inside the theater department is vital for some kids.
Yeah.
It really is a lifeline, especially in a school that is so sports heavy. These kids get lost. And the thing that they learn inside theater, whether they go into it or not, in terms of being able to look people in the eye, hold a conversation, have the poise to comport themselves in front of a group of people, will serve them their entire lives. Whether they're doing a presentation, whether they get that interview for a college, these kids have confidence, and when so many kids are failing in their ability to even look people in the eyes anymore because they're so computer driven, these theater kids are thriving as listening, as cooperating, as finding creative solutions to things. Like, it is a phones down, you know, activity, and that will serve them always. And what they're doing together, you know, listening to each other, you know, the reaction and action, the way they're creatively thinking about stories outside of their own, the empathy that these stories give them, is just such important life skills. The other thing that we talked about, you know, when I watch the show, I'm always looking for, how are these kids telling a story? And the thing that I've noticed the most, and because I've asked them, you know, my daughters are, I'm like, have you done scene studies? Did you talk about the characters? Have you talked about the dignity of your character, what their objective is? None of that is happening.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, is, you know, and we've talked about this, I'm married to a Division I lacrosse playing theater major, so, right, okay, so I'm spanning all the worlds here, and he actually stopped playing lacrosse in college to do more theater. And every time we go to a kid's show, he'll say, you could tell the dance teacher's directing this, or you can tell the music teacher's directing this because the acting is just not there.
Yeah.
Right? And so who is directing our shows? And then can we have a director, but also musical support, choreography support? Like, that's how a really solid theater program runs.
Yeah.
So, and
I'm sorry.
what kind of, and I, don't kill me everyone, but like what kind of, we don't even really offer theater
No, it's never.
during the school day.
There is a, there was a theater
Right.
class, it doesn't happen
It
anymore.
doesn't what?
It doesn't run
Because it's, but that's a chicken and an egg situation
That's a good
possibly, right?
teacher situation.
So I think
So,
you just
yeah.
touched on something so important, and I do apologize, but.
We,
when I-
unfortunately, have to leave because our son has a show.
Go.
So we just wanted to add something.
So,
We have to run.
so well, a sports analogy, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. This is really about
Actually, he will come as a Mandela.
just read, so what we're talking about, really, you can get all the students that you want from the 5th and 6th grade up into junior high and high school, but if you don't have a good foundation for them, if we don't have a good arts program, I'm not saying theater, arts in general, music, the physical arts and graphic arts, the creative writing and storytelling, an arts program, then regardless of the amount of kids you have, the kids aren't going to be interested, the kids aren't going to want to participate in the events, and our school will maintain the reputation that it has today, which is actually, to be honest, a laughing stock. Other schools laugh at the Goldsmith Harbor
I know, I
Arts
think that's why
Program.
we're here, though, we're trying to move, we're trying to
The
fix
whole-
that,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Just
Yes.
theater art.
Exactly, not just
I think
here.
our arts department is pretty good.
So
Not just
when,
here, it's in general.
when we're having people direct the kids, teach the kids, do this kind of pre-production work,
Yeah.
is that our faculty or do we have outside people come and work? with us?
Well, the
That's-
a big part of this, and this is what we're talking with the administration about, is that there is a title for director, choreographer. They have it called vocal director, which actually should be music director, and technical director. And there are no job descriptions.
Who does it though? Our faculty?
It has to be
Or they bring in
offered
people.
to the faculty
Mhm.
first, and if no one takes that job,
Mhm.
then it can be.
So that's at the high school.
That's
level.
not-
That's all of
that's-
it.
that's
Does
only-
it have to be faculty first?
Yeah.
It doesn't have
That's,
to be
that's
faculty first?
district law, we were told.
No, that's just how it's, like, for most clubs and activities, it gets posted internally, because 99% of all clubs and activities are filled internally, because most, you know, when I can get somebody from Brooklyn coming in to do the chess club, it just doesn't happen.
Okay.
But
I'm pretty
anybody,
sure-
anybody can sign up.
I'm pretty sure, Brian, when I had a meeting with you, you had said to me that it's a district rule that it has to be offered to faculty first.
I
Is
think
it
it
a
also
rule?
has to be,
Also, but
It's
is it a
a-
rule that
it's-
just also has
It's
to
a
be?
past practice that it is offered internally first.
But is it a district law slash, is it in the book?
No.
Okay,
Because
so that's,
they're
so here,
laws.
so here's something, I mean,
I've
I
been
wanted to
told
talk
that
for
many
my
times
desk,
too.
but I've jumped in 5 times here, so the biggest problem we found this go around is that one person took on multiple roles, which
Okay, yeah.
caused a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah,
problem, okay? So that right there is a policy defect that needs to be corrected. If it's standard to offer it first to the faculty and then outside of the faculty, that's fine. But offering it to the faculty and then having the faculty member take on 3 roles in one position, that is a
I-
massive.
So, what
thing.
about coaching positions? Do we just offer, like, anyone could be the varsity lacrosse coach in Cold Spring
Anyone
Harbor?
technically
I
can be
think-
the
But
varsity.
don't we really look for people who know how to
Yeah.
coach
Yes.
varsity lacrosse? So why are we not
And I will
looking for
say-
somebody who's really a talented theater
Yeah.
director to direct the shows?
And I will say before I have to scoot,
Yeah.
it is what sets like us apart from other districts in terms of theater. So if you take like Syosset, Jericho, I'm kind of losing some of the other.
Follow Comac, it's North Florida.
They have actual positions that are just theater director, whether they're members of the faculty, but that is their position. You know, I just know from our own kids' directors that they have positions in school districts just for theater directing, or they have an outside person. And you just can see the difference, because we go see shows all over the island at all the different high schools, and you can see the difference when you have somebody who really understands direction and went to school for it. And, you know, they're also educators, like, intertwined in there, and how that impacts the show and the attrition versus expansion of the program. So it just attracts the kids, and when we're talking about how do we get more kids, it's really bringing in somebody who knows how to build up the program.
And it's a twofold, right? If I wanna have filet mignon and asparagus for dinner, that's great, but if I open my fridge and I only have eggs and celery, I'm making egg salad. And we have to look at the kids that we have, and not say, I'm going to do the Music Man and not sure if we have guys who are going to participate in the Music Man, and then cast, you know, a lead
Yeah,
male role.
you pick your show
You
for
pick your
this,
show
yes,
based on who.
the population
Yeah,
who's doing the plays,
Who
that's
picks the
correct.
show?
Who picks the show?
So the director picks the show.
Yeah, the previous
And so,
director.
And the director that they pick out of thin air or whatever? I mean, and if the person has 3 titles, are they getting paid
Yep.
3?
So that's.
So this is
Yeah,
crazy.
I
And-
will say, you're right, Mark.
And I get frustrated that we have coaches, it's not just in your world, in the athletic. I don't think we have coaches that are the best, and I'm always like, let's go out and find the best and bring them in, and let's go. And,
Okay, so what
Can
I'm
they coach
hearing
3
is
sports
exactly what you
simultaneously?
said.
Because that's what this is. This is 3 full-time roles
Right, right.
taken by one person. Can you coach 3 sports simultaneously?
And it's not the first time it's happened, which means no one's been watching the store, right? And that's where it's like, there's many times that it's been kind of common practice that like, you could be the director
well,
or
who's
the technical
supposed to be
director.
watching the store?
Well, You know, we need a Pongino. No one is watching the store. We don't have anyone to watch the store. That's the problem.
But
There
would
is
that
no
be
one
the
who's,
director,
like, the arts, I mean, the sports has that person. They have someone they're accountable to, they have someone who's looking out for the program holistically, they have someone who is really mining the store holistically from the entire district.
So
We don't have that at all.
is
There
that
is
what
no
Brenna
go-to
was
person.
saying, or I'm sorry, Adrian, that's when she said like a position in the district that's the director, that would be what you're saying right now?
They're saying in their school,
Yeah.
like a school might have a theater teacher who's
Right.
also the theater director, whose expertise is theater,
Well, she
right?
made, I don't know, they made it sound like.
Or they
they're-
bring in
they're-
a theater director.
And would that be the role that you're saying right now?
No.
No, I'm saying we need a
We need
budget,
art-
like
we need arts and
we need
music.
an arts person
In
that is
addition.
doing what sports is doing.
Yeah.
Or a chairperson.
You're
Yeah,
saying
we
a
have
a
full-time
full-time
person.
Full-time administrator.
Full-time
As a
administrator.
long-term goal.
But in the short term, you need someone who's minding the store. Because what has happened is, you have paid full-time salaries. Meaning, every time there is a rehearsal,
Yeah, I know
there
exactly
should
where
be
you're going with
someone
this.
who is there.
Yes.
And often, and when you look at the salaries, when you look at the breakdown, I had this conversation I was explaining to someone the other day, is they were like, well, the musical director only gets like half as much as the director, and the choreographer gets a third of that, and I was like, that's exactly the way it is in the professional world. Because
Yeah.
the director has 6 jobs.
Right.
They're doing pre-production, they're interfacing with the director, the musical director, the choreographer, the lighting designer, the set designer, the costume designer. They are overseeing the entire production and having a vision for it and rehearsing every day. The musical director is there every single rehearsal. If there's 3 rooms running at the same time. There's acting happening in one room, music happening in another room, and choreography happening in another room.
so
And
yeah.
that's why our shows are never finishing on time. That's why the kids are so stressed out. That's why they're getting pulled out of classes, AP seminar, to finish a show that should have been finished 2 weeks ago.
I can tell
And
you,
when I
Mary,
look
the
at that
librarian was
glut
first sung in
of
front
time,
of
how
the,
did
in front of me.
do it?
How does it run so
How did he
smoothly
do it?
at the elementary school?
Because they hire somebody else.
There's
When-
an
when we
outside
started-
director.
Who hires them?
This
I don't know, you tell us.
Oh, I don't know.
Like Ms. Shanahan's not hiring,
I don't know.
you know, like who, is it
Who's
the,
hiring Jen Kobe?
Mr. McKee was.
yeah, like who's hiring those outside people?
It goes through the building principals or help.
Mr. McKee was great.
Yeah,
He was
the
amazing.
building principals help find who that, those people are.
To talk about
Yeah.
specific.
Right.
Right.
One I just did.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're not
The
supposed to
building
talk about
principals.
Said a
personal.
nice thing.
I'm sorry.
The building
It's okay.
principals get
The building
to.
principal does.
Like
Right.
good, bad, or indifferent, we're not supposed to
Right.
talk, but I hear you, so you're saying that we need to find, basically, when we put out these jobs, we need to be a little bit more, a lot more specific.
Mhm.
We need to find people who do this is their specialty, not
Yeah.
just, do you have the time to do it, great.
And do it with young people, not just like, you can't just pull any director off the street.
Very
But, like,
different,
very
with very
specific,
different
the
You
guys know
temperament to
people?
work with, yes,
I
of
do.
course, yeah.
Okay, well-
At least, I'm
I
sorry.
asked if they know people.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that was
I
gonna,
think, yeah.
yeah, I think that's
I
kind
think
of
we
what we
need to
had
know
talked
who
about,
they are.
you know people, but,
Yeah.
I think it gets a little sticky when we're doing this in public, but wouldn't it be possible for them to send those
You can
people
share them
to
too.
us?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate that very much.
But we can tell you,
You know-
there wouldn't have been a choreographer if we didn't get involved the 2 days before the show started. There wouldn't have been a choreographer. for
That's
anything.
such a massive undertaking for a show. Is,
But you
There
know,
was one person,
every,
that was it. At that
every
time, there was
show
one
is
person
a
on the
major
show.
undertaking, and it requires the same amount of work. If I'm doing a show with 2 people, or I'm doing a show with 32 people, the infrastructure is the same. And what's happened here is there's no infrastructure.
yeah.
So there's no, when I was like, what are the metrics for a musical director? Playing the piano.
Yeah.
Kids should not, at the high school level, be learning songs from Spotify and tracks. That is an embarrassment.
And that is
For
the
a
way my son
district,
learned.
of a district of this level, the musical director should be playing these, plunking out
It's
these
not
notes
excellent.
and teaching this.
Yeah.
It is subpar. It is because they're doing better at elementary.
Okay, but it sounds like the answer to this is hiring the right people.
Yes,
Right.
that's what we
And
want.
yeah.
We want people
Yes.
that are not from the school.
and
We
do
don't
you-
want this to be offered
No,
to
we
staff
just
from
want
the
the right
school. We just
people.
want people.
Do you have
that-
very specific job descriptions you could share to
Yes,
help?
we
Thank
have, do you
you.
have job descriptions?
That's
Yeah,
great,
let's share them
thank you.
now.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know so many people were here.
That's okay, just make sure I get
Just
one.
give them
Like-
to, even to Joe.
You guys can, we
And
can
he
share
can
them
make
now.
copies.
Yeah, I can make
Yeah. We have everything too, like in a board.
Thank you. I can share this with the board, so don't, you want to
Thanks.
look? I will
Online.
share with everyone.
And how early can we start? Because I'm just trying to like backtrack
Yeah.
the, right, so say like the Music Man was in February?
February.
Right, and when did they find out it was the Music Man?
They're, just before Thanksgiving.
Just before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So,
They tried it
right,
out just before Thanksgiving.
so, but there's time, you have to get the license and that takes time,
Yes.
right?
So,
And you have to
Yeah,
hire a
we
director.
talked about this with Mr. Dambusky yesterday.
Mhm.
I was, because I've sat down, I've talked with someone from the arts department from every school, except for Gusto, but I've talked to, so I've kind of just wanted to get like a feel of what their needs are and how, we were talking about how Arts Booster Club could support them. So we had a conversation specifically about rights with Ms. Buttafuoco. And she was explaining the process because the student production rights, she inherited the drama club at the very last minute, right? And so getting the rights can take up to 6 weeks. And so it wouldn't have happened. I was able to make a phone call and got the rights, and so they're able to do the show. But our typical rights, they asked for them in September, and then after 6 weeks got denied because there's gonna be another production of the show somewhere. And then they had to start all over again and get a whole new set of rights.
I have a
And I was
question.
like, you guys are starting
Way
way too late.
But is there, this might be a stupid question, but
No, no,
you're
go
the only person that I can answer.
Yeah.
If you're getting the rights too far out, is that a problem too? Like, can they expire?
No.
So
You'll
would
be
you
fine.
get the rights 2 years ahead of time and still do the play 2
You
years
can't
later?
do 2 years ahead of time, but because you won't have a budget approved. So the
I'm just
earliest that you can
curious.
get rights is going to be July 1st. Whenever you approve the budget is when you can trigger the
Well, we
rights.
just approved.
Shelley, I have a question
In the
though.
new year, July 1 would be
I've-
the new year.
July 1 is the new, yeah.
That's the second time I've heard of that happening, and once here and once in another school recently.
Yeah.
So is it something that can happen where you get the rights and just as soon as they're approved, all of a sudden it's going into production? I mean,
No, because they would say.
shouldn't there be like a pending?
They would, so if you don't get the rights, it's because the rights, there's a professional theater
Yeah.
that is doing it in your vicinity.
Okay.
And is prohibited. They are not gonna pull the rights from you if you have it. That professional theater is gonna say, we really don't care that Cold Spring Harbor's doing it. We're gonna
Right.
do it anyway at Engelman Theater, right? Like,
Okay.
that's how it
Right,
goes.
we're
but they're
not the
gonna take
competition
your
for the
rights.
Engelman.
Right,
But-
but if it's the other, if they have it, we cannot do it within a certain radius.
Okay,
So
and so we
great
should have been
question.
aware of that though in advance of asking for the rights. Is that part
You
of the
would
problem?
never know until you ask.
Can
You ask for the rights.
Can you just?
You have to pay, right?
You
You
have
have
to
to
pay. You have to pay. Okay.
They would probably
So-
deny it,
so
if we want
how
X, they say
long-
you can't have X, we go, then we have a second or something, it sounds like.
You mean, but you may not find out, it's the same 6-week process. You should have a few shows in mind, right?
And you should
So,
ask early
but
enough.
you can only ask once. I mean, you could ask for 2 different licensing houses. You could ask a Concord and MTI, but.
I
at
don't
some
ever
point you're
remember
gonna
being
pay.
rejected, it may have been the director asked them, can we do show X? And they said, all right, it's right at Engelman, so the answer is no. I don't think if it came to us, we did the paperwork, and then they told us.
Yeah,
no.
they won't do that.
I think they already, like, the director already did all the work and said, you can't do the Lion King because next door is doing the Lion King, so that's
Yeah.
why.
You said it's been longer than 6 weeks and we just have to sit and wait.
From what I understand, based on certain productions for schools, like I know that when we went through it at a former district that I was at, they were only releasing Frozen to a certain number of schools.
Yeah, not out
And
oversaturated
so you
market.
can't, right, so there are certain, based on whatever it is that you're doing, that there are limitations with. And you have to wait for someplace like Disney to tell you that they are giving it to you and it's a big deal. And so in those cases, those are unique, so it's not for every type of play that we decide, or music, whatever we
Okay.
decide.
So-
So the big
I
thing,
think it's easy enough to
thing
sell.
is, we're all, the bottom line is, it's all about the calendar, right? We're starting everything way too late.
Okay, so
If you
this
pick your-
year, if we
yes.
start in July,
Right.
is that, do you think that's what you're suggesting?
This year, what
This
we
year.
talked, what I talked with them about
Yeah.
yesterday was, on July 1st, you should be prepared to do the rights for the play, which is coming up first in the calendar, the musical, and the junior high musical.
But before you do that, don't you have to have the director know who's gonna be directing each show? Because they're gonna make that decision as to what play is going on, and also, we have to have the calendar meeting, right? So this stuff doesn't overlap, and you'll know you'll have the pack for the right date, so that has to happen even before that then.
Yeah, but we can still get the rights.
Right, July 1,
So,
we'll have the calendar.
there's two ways,
There's
there's,
a calendar in
set,
May.
I'm
Right.
sure, for
But
the
you
school
may not know
already.
the
Do you need a
director.
director for each show though?
so,
Well, they have to hire
there's
the-
two ways that can happen. The answer to that is, you can, if you don't know who the director is going to be, you have a conversation with the educators that are familiar with the talent. And you, as a district, say, we're not sure who the director's gonna be next year. You know, Mr. Dembuski would say, you know, Miss McLeese, Mr. Guarini, you know, Miss Bunfuco, Dr. Goshin, talk to me about the talent. Let's get like an average range between the junior high kids that are moving up and making sure, how many do we think, what is it, male to female presenting, like where are we in the numbers we're looking at? And you're like, okay, so if it's gonna be, it should be a female heavy show, we have some really great sopranos, we've got some great altos, and here are a canon of shows that make sense. And also thinking about what the kids would be interested in. The kids would love to be able to say, if you're thinking about 5 shows, like, let us weigh in on the 5 shows, and they are your best ticket sellers. You are not selling tickets because the kids are too embarrassed to tell their friends to come.
So, hold on a second.
And so you are not, and they are the people who are going to sell the most tickets. They are the people who are like, come see me in the show, grandma, come see me in the show. And they're not doing it. They don't feel good about what they're putting on stage.
So how to implement this?
So-
Go ahead, I'm sorry, finish.
So the way that you do it is, if you, in my world, a show exists before I'm hired for it. So I get hired, there's a title, I just got a new show, and it has a cast, and I'm gonna cast it, right? It's not always you get a director and the director picks the show. Sometimes the show exists, and then you hire the director for the show.
So we could
So,
get the title.
It can go either way.
Like-
The one thing that you wanna be mindful of is, because we have a pool of talent that we're working from, that we're not picking a show that does not, would not be helpful for the pool of talent that we have. So that's the only thing you wanna be thoughtful
So
about.
that was kind of logistics,
He's
I
been
think.
trying to talk for so long, Mark.
I just want to say how to do that. Use AI. You get the
Do not do
information.
that. Do not do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. And I'll tell you, it is not, you want an expert to do it. We want to get away from pieces of paper that spit out things that actually aren't accurate. I'm correcting AI all the time in
So if you
scripts.
tell them I have Sopranos and this many female and whatever, what are the top 10 shows? It wouldn't tell you a list of the top 10 shows.
Yes, but it may not actually hit the metrics that you want, which is, I have 7 Sopranos, and I have this, and I have a person who has, you know, who's on the spectrum, who has a longer learning possibility. They're just like, we are talking about human beings, and human beings should be making these decisions.
So-
Okay, so, just because it's now 5:30.
Yeah.
What do we think, I know, it goes fast when everyone's chatting,
Yeah.
right? It's lots of amazing ideas and suggestions. Should we go through, Mark, was that what you were about to do?
No, I wanted to say before we get into the roundabout, so these logistical issues certainly need attention. The bottom line is money and resources. So I want to understand how many people are involved in this theater, and how many are involved in athletics. We have a $2.3 million athletic budget.
Alice,
with
What's
a-
the music budget?
Allison, you sent me the budget.
So I want to understand, to make sure that this is given the proper financial backing, so you can hire the right talent. You have obviously a community of people that are willing to put the work in, to work with those people to
Yeah.
make sure, and report back to us what we need to do. Because we always hear this is a district that supports athletics over the arts. That should not happen. I don't want that to happen. I think we even had a conversation about that, where I said, I will work so that doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
here I am. And I want to get a breakdown of the numbers. I mean,
I can tell you for the Music Man, there were 51 students in the cast, pit, and crew. And for Grease, there were 49 students in the cast, pit, and crew. And I can also tell you there's a number of students that would not participate because of the personnel. And it's just-
there's overlap
Wait,
in those
Allison
numbers?
is pulling up
There's
the
an
budget.
overlap in the crew only.
Oh.
So the
Also,
cast number
they're
is
like
for Grease,
age,
there's not.
they also, I know my kids too, when they got to middle school and high school, they started to be so more self-conscious about like where their friends were and what their, you know,
Mhm.
I
That
hate that,
pipeline.
right.
That's that pipeline.
Yeah.
And if we had, like, you know.
Yeah,
But
if
there's been
McKee
a
was
real
coming up to the high
attrition
school age.
in these departments in these last couple of years.
All right,
And there are a number of
Allison-
students that said they would come back to the arts with a change.
And I've said this before, that we're at a little disadvantage, Judy, in Cold Spring Harbor, is the kids start here in 7th grade.
Right.
In most middle schools, you start 6th grade, and what don't they do in 6th grade? Athletics.
Right.
They don't get that first chance or clubs and activities. The first thing, I can tell you for the 10 years when I was assistant principal and we would talk to the 6th graders, everyone wants to be a varsity fill-in-the-blank athlete. And it's, well, you still continue on here, but that has that allure,
Right.
is the athletics,
But
for
you could
whatever
have-
reason it
but they
is.
You could have
Stagger
a,
the practices
well, here,
and
you could
the-
have
And
a
they
big
do.
sign at the end of the driveway that says auditions for Music Man. Do you play a sport? Have we got a spot for you?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like something, like, you know, and tell them flat out, like, as these, you know, that, like, you play a sport, it doesn't matter.
I don't know if it has mattered in the past, and so we
Make
wanna
it not
make sure
matter.
that making that.
There have been kids that have done both.
There are a lot of kids who did wrestling.
Right, it should be both.
We had
And they
boys
shouldn't
who
have
did
to
wrestling and did the Music Man.
Okay, Allison has
Yeah.
the budget, that we had for, you know,
You had hockey players in the music.
We
band,
did,
too.
Yeah, we did.
We did the wrestlers, yeah.
But it should be clear that they don't have to choose.
They don't have to
You know,
choose.
and maybe even seek out those kids
Well,
that play
hockey
sports.
works
and be
because
like,
they
you
play
can
late.
still-
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked,
They
yeah.
practice at 4 o'clock
Yeah, it's so
still,
hard.
at least one day a week, so they figured it out.
one day a week is
Yeah.
different.
There's
than-
always a creative solution. We're a yes and business. Allison, you've got a.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead, Allison.
In terms of just, this is just these are just the musicals, that this year, we've spent $111,857 roughly.
For all 4 musicals?
For the junior high school musical and the high school musical, yeah, I have Lloyd Harbor, West Side, I have all 4
Is
of
that
those.
So how much
primarily
of it was for the
salary?
high school musical?
Is that mostly
The- the-
salary?
That might take me some time.
The rights were
So I
5K,
put it-
and then you have the salaries for the 4 people that have salary. And then,
That was in the you know what, I looked that up because it's in the minutes from all the board meetings,
yeah,
how much they get paid.
Oh, we have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
I
have
the
production
staff.
costs, salary, and then rights, licensing fees, is that what comprises that?
yeah, rights and
budget?
licensing fees are usually
Set
around,
design,
like-
construction.
the construction budget for the high school. And that is split between both the tech needs of the technical STEM and the school. So it's $10,000 total, and some of that goes towards the construction of the.
Mr. Denbus.
Are you
Mr.
asking
Denbus.
for junior high school and high school, or just high school?
Just high school.
And
Do
your
you
fo-
think,
go
do you
ahead.
think it would be helpful, I think it would be helpful, Allison, if we, not tonight, not while we're sitting here, but if we put together with you and the administration and talked about it as a board, looking at like a 1-year plan and a 3-year plan for how to build and grow this department out appropriately? So what do you think about that, as, without going into the numbers and details
I would like to.
here,
do
which I
that
think Joe probably,
With every area we touch.
While we're doing that.
It sounds like you're talking about a committee.
well, or at least if we had
having one or two board members meet with.
Yes.
There's something within your
Can we-
bylaws called the
can-
diligent
board
committee.
We can do that, right? We actually have a community committee for buildings and grounds where it was opened up to the community and there are community members and board members and the head of business
The
office.
diligent committee is the
Yes.
mechanism within your charter that you can use.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
That's an existing committee.
yes,
Tech committee is the same too,
Okay.
it has community members on it.
yes.
So your goal is to make sure the productions are better and then the kids are properly being instructed and, you know, motivated, supported. That your main concern are productions, not the in-school curriculum as
I
much.
think that actually,
It goes hand
if
in
I
hand.
may, especially for the children who really still love theater but cannot get it in their schedules, to have theater offered during the day would be fantastic for
Yeah.
them, because then they could keep up with theater. And whether or not they can make it into the productions, then maybe they'll continue with it on later
Yeah.
as
So
well.
we're gonna pass out
Allison, what were you
a
about to
bigger
tell us?
goal sheet. Yes.
Oh, you said it
Well,
was gonna take us some
as I'm
time.
adding it up, what I realize is that we lump together the chaperone costs for
Yeah.
all four productions together, so it is a little hard to break out.
That's okay. I'm sure
But I could give you a rough estimate, that
Yeah.
it was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of somewhere between 70 and 80,000
For the high school?
for junior high and high school.
Okay. I'd be curious about what it just is for high school.
That would not, I wouldn't be able to do that tonight, because the
Okay, yeah.
chaperone sheets alone would take a while
Our goal is to
sit
never have
through.
chaperones for the high school musicals. It should be for older kids to be adults and not have little kids.
Community service and that type of.
Well, I think even
I
sports
think
have
you have to
chaperones.
have.
No, you have to
No,
have.
no,
some-
I'm
No,
talking
we're
about,
not.
Yeah.
we're talking about, we had a lot of chaperone hours because we had fifth and sixth graders in the high school musical, which took a lot of instruction time away and direction time away, and it was just a disaster.
I'm sorry, so there were supposed to be people there, chaperones there?
After the fact, they added some chaperones.
No, majority
they weren't
chaperones.
chaperones,
Did
but.
we, did we get
Yes.
budgeted for chaperones that were supposed to be there during rehearsal time, or just technique? Just technique. And there wasn't, and there,
There were none.
Are you talking about during the day or after school?
After school.
During
So so it would be great if it'd be great to know what that budget is, but the goal is to not be spending money on chaperones for a high school musical. That's nuts. There are plenty of ways that we could be enhancing the art and not doing that again. What I just passed out is actually what our big initiative is, which is to create and prepare our students for any kind of professional careers that they could want with a collaborative arts education. We have so many, every club that we have in this school is included in this comprehensive form that talks about all the ways that our kids can have opportunities inside our school. And because theater is the only art form that is the nexus for all 7 art forms, it creates an opportunity for our kids in photography to be
Yeah,
taking the
like
pictures
this,
for the
and
program,
making the scenes.
to do the marketing, that, you know, and we've had this conversation with
The
Ms.
set, the
Oswald.
set.
Well, the set is already embedded now in the broadcasting program, so I just like, so,
In the broadcasting program?
so the broadcasting course, the set is now going to be part of broadcasting next year. That was a change that we already made before ever having this meeting.
Yeah.
So JT will be teaching the broadcasting course.
That's
To
amazing.
do it
That's
as a
great.
comprehensive experience where the kids will kind of immerse themselves in what's coming and then be part of the build and then be part of what it takes to film and then learn all the different components from a holistic standpoint, like bird's eye view, down into the subcomponents, and everyone will have a role. So that's
That
already
is
part of our
extraordinary.
You're gonna market
programming,
that.
so I just don't want, like, I don't wanna take that part, like now.
No, and that is the exact kind of thing that we are going for, right?
And I
That's
think-
the kind of integration that you'll
And I
see.
think, Kim, I think these are,
Yeah.
this is like amazing suggestions for ideas of how to make this happen, and then obviously there's also experts who
Yes.
know what's happening already curricularly in school, so it's putting everything together.
There's a
right?
lot of
Yeah.
jobs that adults are doing that our children are not getting the opportunity to be mentored in. And so they're not getting, for something as simple as making the show poster could be something in a kid's portfolio to go to college. And right now, we're doing clip art from the internet. And I'm like, we have so many great artists in the school, let's offer them that opportunity. We have a professional photographer that comes in. Let's have a kid sit next to that photographer and have a learning opportunity.
Again, there's no
Costume
coordination,
designer.
There's no
There's-
coordination.
and there's
no
no
one doing it.
director
Yeah.
of the,
Kim, did you get
of
this?
the,
Yeah.
moving
Arts.
parts. so-
Right, there's
I'll
a
get it
sports
together.
media club where the kids do the pictures and the broadcasting, so why isn't there
Yeah.
a theater,
We need
arts,
someone-
yeah,
We need
media?
someone that owns this,
That's
right?
right.
At a high level,
Right.
right? That's taking this as our example of very good, concrete examples that, maybe they get changed or, augmented or whatever. But to take something like this and actually implement it, right? Holistically across,
That's right.
across the school system,
Right.
And it's not happening in a coordinated way. Even down to the fact of like, it didn't get brought up specifically, but when we were talking about certain positions, it's like, how do you get, first of all, I know Shelley took a look at the job description for, we're gonna use the example of the musical again, the job description for director, musical director, and whatever, were all wrong.
Well, there wasn't any.
There weren't any job descriptions. So like, who owns that? Who's gonna own that? That's why you need, someone that can be responsible for that and hold other people accountable, right? Because what ended up happening, there's no job descriptions, people get put into the job that shouldn't be in the job, and then this district wasted, we bought
Thousands of dollars.
3 salaries and got less than a third of the work.
Right, we could be a lot more efficient.
Right?
Yeah.
And I heard you specifically at the last meeting talking about when it was the budget meeting, right? And I was like, bingo, right there. It's like, where can we find savings? Right? Where can we, of course, as a board, that's what you're gonna do. Like, we need more money here, we need more money there.
We
John.
missed the last meeting, I was really excited.
We did a lot of that.
That's the point. The point is that there's a lot to mind, and you need someone that is their primary directive, right?
And can I just say, just one thing to add to what Scott's saying? One of the primary goals of this person is to draw the connection between the education that's happening
Yes.
and the extracurriculars and make that
Mhm.
connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's where the magic starts happening. It's not just in the extracurricular sector, just in the educational sector. It's bringing people in from the classes.
Must be frustrating.
Streamlining, but someone has to oversee that, someone has to manage it.
Someone brought the kids from the Art Honor Society to come do makeup, which I thought was amazing. Like they came and they
That's
did
a
makeup
My
for
daughter
Lion
did it.
King.
Perfect
Yeah,
example.
that was
That was
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was other
There you
kids
go.
that
It
came
was a
and did
great
it.
experience
It was the
for
older
these
kids that
older
came in
kids
and
to
did
come
it.
in.
Yeah.
And
Actual
it's those
application.
kind of connections
Yeah.
that, like, we have all of this in the school.
I think
How
the
are
kids
we
did it too. Mom,
doing
I remember when Claire was in 6th grade,
Yeah.
some of the older kids.
So there's
were
two other
amazing
things
at that.
Yeah.
before we walk out the door that Mr. Dan Muskie specifically said, can we make sure, it's like, how can we be allies to you? What is it we can advocate on your behalf? One was the calendar for the pack,
Okay.
like the calendar. Before the calendar gets voted on, he just asked that everyone who has stakes in the calendar sit around a table like this and really have a conversation, because everything happens at the PAC. Everything happens in the high school at the PAC. And this year, the calendar was bananas. And he was like, there were things, even if there was a conversation about, we need this for this program, oh, we also need that for that program. These two programs should be closer together. Like, just sharing resources, there's too many moving parts between all the schools, and he's like, it's a lot.
What do you use internally for are you using like School Dude or something? What are you using?
We do, we use School Dude, we have
Yeah.
it, we have it
That can
packed
be tricky
to
too, because
calendar.
sometimes things are pending and not approved, and
Well,
then they
it's
get
also
approved.
not helpful
and-
because
yeah.
it has a box of, and he explained this, what, do you need audio visual? And there's a
Yes.
box that you check it, right? Do you need 2 microphones? are 28.
You have to put it in the write-up in School Dude.
And that's
You have to
not what's
write it in,
happening.
yeah.
And he
Yeah.
got caught with a giant program that articulated none of those things. And he goes, if we just been sitting at table. And
Yeah,
this
you
is
need
the
to
kind of
say
like-
8 mics,
Right, you
8
need-
stools, you need to, because I
Right.
use it also for
And
my events,
then
yeah.
it gets to like the bigger thing, which is not having a pack manager is extraordinarily hampering so much of what's happening every single time anything happens in that building.
Since I've been in this, the 5 years I've been here, I've not been to a show or a demonstration or whatever you wanna have in the pack and not seen some sort of technical, problem. Including a show where the lights weren't on top of the kids. Literally, the kids work so hard and the lights aren't on, and then when we inquire about it and say, what happened? It's like, well, the requisition got put in 2 weeks ago and no one did anything about it,
Because nobody managed.
stories,
It's
right?
another one of those, like, nobody's,
No one's minding the
It's a-
story.
no
it's a
one's
jump ball,
owning it.
yeah.
And it also leaves us vulnerable for the theater directors when they come in. There's no go-to person. Who is actually doing the lights and who is doing the sound and who is managing the tech? Which is your biggest, which is your biggest liability.
I mean, if something isn't working, we have to report it to Eric, and Eric will be on working.
But you,
Buildings and grounds.
but someone's gotta report it to them.
Right.
There's no one who's actually checking to make sure, is everything working? Did everything get put back?
It's a
You know,
job,
it's
it's a building
it's
with
a
lots
big
of
job.
systems, I mean, like, how
They
does
check,
that?
They
they
check,
like-
yeah, they check, yeah,
I
yeah.
know that there was unnecessary anxiety with trying to get the crew set down because there was
A concert.
concert going on and they weren't sure, right? Like it was.
Yeah, I think, like I said, so
all-
much goes on in the pack.
Yeah.
Believe me, I mean, if you come to CPC, I mean, it is
It's on top of everything.
50 hours, I'm not kidding, putting together the calendar, but it's not just the production day of the show, it's tech week, and is it a longer tech week? And then you throw in a snow day and everything is just,
Yeah.
and things get adjusted, it's a challenge. And we try and do the best and map out where we can, and I think you said it, we got every White Harbor and West Side use it, which in most schools, you stay at your elementary school,
Right.
your middle school, that's where you do it. But it's beautiful, it's a great place to have.
It's a great show.
And we have a junior high too at the same
And it's got the most
time.
expensive computer in your entire school in it, and no one knows how to use it. And that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, that's what
The lighting
that's what we were told, it was the most expensive computer in
I
the,
don't,
no one knows how to use it. And a 3-hour tutorial on how
I
to
don't
turn the
know
lights
why,
on.
for the scenery,
For lighting,
For lighting and
Lighting and
sound.
sound.
I mean, we brought in advanced sound to do training, who installed it?
There's a 3-hour training on a very expensive system. Can
3
people
hours.
turn on the lights? Can they turn off the lights? But do they know how to work the system? Can they design a show? Can they design
I
a
would have to.
concert? The answer is, could you do calculus after 3 hours? This is someone's actual job that people get paid 6 figures for.
Did you put
That
that
is
in the
not a
job description?
3-hour tutorial. It is, job description
Okay,
is in
got it.
there. That, I mean, that's what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
it feels like you have spent money in a good place, but after 3 hours, could you drive a car?
Right.
Like, this is,
Shelley, I've failed my road test 7 times, so no.
It's checking a box,
I'm
but
an
it's
excellent
actually,
driver now, though.
it's actually not doing the job. So people know, people have sat there and they've done a 3-hour tutorial, but it is a very expensive piece of equipment. And I can tell you by seeing the shows after the trainings, no one knows how to work this.
No,
We
that's
were
excellent.
all at the last performance in which
But
this
does the group
happened.
think that to replicate what we do with the facilities committee and do it with an arts committee where we had 5 members from the community join with board members and administration, we meet.
Yeah, we kind of did
um,
like a process where we didn't,
at every
like, not
6
everybody can come.
It's not everybody, it's 5 people from the
I mean-
community that speak on
Well,
behalf
and
of.
we did open it up to the whole community, so it wasn't just, we didn't just open it up. We said anyone who would like to write into us why they should be part of
You never
this
know.
committee and what your area of expertise is, and we may get somebody who is, a lighting board expert who wants to be on the, but you never know. So we found people who really have amazing facilities
Is that a job that has to be
expertise.
done by an expert or? just humor me, is it something that like kids could take a class and then be graded on for how well they
So
listen?
kids learn to do the lighting boards
Right,
in
and then if
high
they-
schools across
If they miss a
America,
cue,
yes.
do they, get
If
down a
someone
grade?
knows how to teach
Yeah, I'm
them,
serious.
That's
Like,
part
just
of
like
it,
a
they
lot
learn
of
it.
else.
they can learn how to do, the goal is, our children should be learning these
Yeah.
skills so
At
that
my
they
school,
can
they learn the
perhaps
lighting
pursue
board,
this. But
yeah.
there's no one to teach them, there's no one to guide them in that. So everyone in there is kind of figuring it out on the
This is a
fly.
great suggestion.
I
It's a
have a
mentoring
question.
opportunity.
So,
My
Yeah.
question is,
Yeah.
given that we just approved the budget and we know a theater director is not in there, a PAC manager is not in there, and we're talking about implementing this is for the next school year. Who would be the point person, Joe, who would be for this year, given the model we have, the point person for some of these things that we've been discussing today?
You know, and thinking here, we would need multiple people depending upon what it is. I think Mr. Guarnieri would have some expertise, he could help out here. I said Eric would be very good on making sure if there's something is wrong, you need to say something to make sure, like, everybody, if we sit in a meeting, you don't tell the right person that it's not working, it's not gonna get fixed.
Right.
You gotta go to that right person, and everyone needs to have their hands, and if you're in the show and we have a, just a guest speaker and somebody realizes the light's out, you gotta tell someone, because you may not realize that. Right, they gotta go, I mean, at the end of the day, you could go to maintenance, or even Mr. Dambusky, you could say, by the way, he passes on to the right person. And, stuff breaks, and you gotta fix it, that's the way it is, but like you said, you gotta tell the person, and then they can get it done.
There's so many moving parts.
Yes.
To this field. I mean, in the long term, the investment is worth it to consider, because you need people not only understand how to put all of this together, but communicate with each other to actually affect change and, improve the district. It's a question of people in charge.
so
What is the sports budget?
So 2.3 million's athletics, and
Is
I
that
was
just
gonna
high
ask,
school, or is that
that's
all?
for the district, but I was going to ask, why do we have to wait a year to implement some of these? Like, are there any ways to fund certain initiatives? Because, this mismanagement, disorganization.
Yeah, this is kind of where I'm.
well, Heather was saying wait a year because she wanted to figure out who we'd put in place
Well,
to do
budget.
those, because of the budget was approved. But what I was gonna say is, we always say we have money, and don't kill me, Allison, but in the budget for when there's over enrollment and things like that, there is wiggle room for positions sometimes, so can we just talk about what a 1 year and 3 year budgetary plan would look like, not in the next 10 minutes, but at the next meeting, and perhaps with a formalized committee, maybe we could get that going quickly, and then look at our budget and see what we can do to maybe make sure we're spending the money more efficiently
Mhm.
and putting the right people in the right
So-
places in year one.
I think you're saying, looks like a full-time lighting professional in a full-time
I'm not
studio.
saying
No,
a
For a
This-
show,
this
for
sounds
a
like it's
show, you bring them in for the
overhaul.
show.
Is there a position, because it seems it's a lot of positions, that obviously we're not going to be able to build this up
Right.
in here. Is there a position that you think we need right away? That we need to direct our attention to? A PAC manager over a theater department chair? You think a PAC-
I think that's something that we're gonna figure out at the moment,
Yeah.
because like
Right.
you need more stakeholders that, that
Right.
you make
Yeah.
the principal, or,
Yeah.
other
Like,
people.
your
and then-
professional opinion.
Well, I mean, we don't know what you're spending on.
Right, you have to
Right,
discuss it.
and we also don't
I
know
think-
what's already allocated,
I
right?
think
So
I mean, if
what's-
we want a wish list.
Yeah.
I think what we can vote on, since we have a quorum, is at least the creation of a committee, right? That will incorporate parents, and like we have with facilities, we have a
Can
quorum.
we do that now?
Yeah,
That's fine with me. All right, so we could take,
Are you okay with that?
that's what they want.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
okay, I'll take a motion to.
Can I just, not opposed, I mean, we already have, you guys have your committee,
Yeah.
ABC. I mean, is it, we vote to, we have at least
This
two
is
representative
different.
meet
Is it so that we could
It's
talk more
different.
candidly?
Yeah, I'm looking to make it
Also,
simple
we're
for us to
talking
get
about-
that
It's not a
conversation.
public meeting then, it's just a
Yeah.
committee meeting, which
Okay.
people can come and observe, but it's, you don't have to have a quorum of board members
Right.
to have it, just like the tech committee.
Yeah.
And you'd be opening it up to all
Anyone,
committee members.
you never kick anyone out of a tech committee, people show, I'm looking to make it easy as opposed to, yeah.
It gets open, we would open it up to all community members, not just people
Right.
here.
That's right.
Because
Yeah.
like you were
Yeah.
saying,
Put
you
it
might
out.
have somebody that's retired that did this for a living, their
There might be
kids
a
aren't
park
even in
manager
school
somewhere.
anymore.
Right.
There might
You
be.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Adrian, who left here, you know, he's been helping out, you know, in an unofficial capacity, because he knows something about sound, right? And he's saving, saving the shows from bottoming out.
Yeah.
You know, tech-wise, audio-wise, he's been saving everyone's bacon, so to speak, you know? And it's like, why should, when we all got together and we've been, preparing, all this, details for you, the thing that struck all of us is that, again, someone has to own it, right? Someone has to be minding all of these things and shepherd it through the system. When you start breaking apart, well, this little piece goes to this guy and this little piece goes to this person, and, then it just gets lost and you're drifting. And everything that happened in the Music Man was a big wake-up call, right? It was a big refocus. We've been refocused, and we're trying to get you to refocus.
Okay, I'm
right?
hearing you.
And that's really the goal. It's like, let's refocus and get things back on
Well, I
track.
think this is a good step. We need,
It's a good start, it really
Good
is.
start.
So-
And, it's hard to hear $2.3 million versus $100,000, right? And we're trying to figure out how to squeeze, maybe $100,000
80% of the population of the high school though is participating in the athletics versus 50 kids, but let's try to,
Well, it's more than 50 kids, that's just 50 kids in a
but,
visual.
yes, you're
Yeah.
right, but let's try to get them
Yes.
more proportionally, I mean, it's not gonna be the same, but
Yeah,
Closer.
it's never gonna be the same, but there's
I think you're right, listen, how many
there's a
coaches
big
are there on the
window.
football field? And we can't get
and
a
one of the
couple of
things
people
we're
to help
ask-
with a show.
And one of the
I
things
mean,
we're
there's a guy in
advocating
the
for
booth
is
reporting
something that
down to the
benefits
people on the
entire
field.
district.
Yeah.
Like advocating for a pack manager benefits our kids who do the shows, but actually every single thing that happens, so it really shouldn't be our responsibility to ask for that out of our
No.
budget. The school should actually just want the lights and the sound to work when you have a graduation. Like,
Right.
it should just wanna work every time you have an assembly
Yeah.
or someone's talking.
Yes.
It's just embarrassing.
No,
Yeah.
One music teacher said to me, the lights went out so many times in concerts, I actually thought they were trying to make me quit my job. 4 years in a row, the lights, she goes, I've got little kids on stage playing instruments in the dark, and I thought they were trying to get me to quit my job. That's how systemic it is, and that's just having a conversation with your departments about what do you need? And like, more of those
Yeah.
conversations need to happen, but I don't wanna own the PAC problem as a part of performing arts, because that's a district problem.
That's a
We
great
need
point.
we need a person who is in charge of the
That's a
arts,
very
and that's what we
good
want to
point.
fight for.
so should we take the motion to form a
Yeah, I think-
committee
yeah.
and have
Then we
be
can get
able to
things
send out to the
moving,
community?
yes.
Okay, so can I have a first for a motion, for, what would it be? Adding establishment of a
Actually,
arts,
arts, how would you describe it?
yeah.
An arts committee?
Performing arts, let me see, we
I wouldn't say
call
the whole
it the.
performing though, 'cause yeah.
It's,
But it should be,
No.
are we just focusing on performing arts?
Are we just
Or, I mean, I'm sure Ms.
Yeah.
Oswald has all this that she wants to
Yeah.
talk to.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, this is more than just
Should be broader.
performing.
Right, because a lot of this
I think it should be
incorporates all the
overall.
arts.
Yeah, I think all
So
the
an
arts.
arts committee,
An arts
Call it an arts committee.
an overall arts,
department, or there isn't a.
Arts advisory committee, I like what you said.
arts advisory
I like that.
committee,
There you
beautifully
go,
said.
arts advisory committee.
So, a motion to add, an arts advisory committee. Can I take a first to add that? Lisa, a second. Kate, all in favor? Okay, so that, and now I'll take a motion to approve the establishment of the arts advisory committee. Can I have a first? Lisa, a second. Alex?
Do we have to stipulate how many, the composition of it? Like,
We could talk about it, and
Why
the
not?
question,
Yeah.
point of it.
We can just
It's good
approve
to
it
discuss
and then backfill
Well, we could discuss it now, I mean,
I
we're
think we
here
should
to
do it the
discuss
same
it
the
now.
same
now, why
way.
not?
Yeah,
I think we should do it the same way we did
We
the
opened it
monthly
to
rounds.
5.
If,
Yeah.
right, because then if we keep adding committees and it's uniform,
Yeah,
then
it
it
should be
is,
uniform.
we're
So
not
it'd be
giving
5
an
members.
advantage
And
to
should
one
they
group
apply?
over
And it should be
another.
done the
Yeah.
same way as we
same
did
way.
that, we'll use the same
Criteria.
outreach and criteria
Yes.
for that, and the same procedure for that.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's,
So right, we had an application process, we reviewed all the applicants, and we picked 5 people who represented different
Diverse.
areas.
Areas of expertise.
and how often does it meet? Because when
It's
usually we
arbitrary.
would approve this in
Maybe not
July,
necessarily.
and we say how often it meets.
No, the committees can meet on a monthly basis or
Yeah.
bi-monthly.
I would
It's up to
also
the
like
committee.
to say, I think we should, with this committee, start as soon as possible and not wait till July
Right.
Right.
to start it, because
Well, we're
this
approving
needs,
it
to we need
now.
to go,
We're
yeah.
approving it now, but I'm just saying, in the July meeting, we discussed how often they meet usually, and when we appoint either of those committees. I'm just saying, since we're creating it now,
Right.
what do
We
you
should-
guys think?
Create it and then send out a notice to the community to start to solicit the members to join.
fill.
To get it
So I
going.
think it could be like monthly or as needed.
As needed, right,
Okay,
like the
that sounds
facilities
good.
committee, we opted to try to meet once a month. We haven't been able to do that for other reasons, but, because we have a lot on our plate, if you saw the 5-year plan.
That's what we want.
All right,
We want a
monthly.
5-year plan.
Oh,
And then-
yes,
and
well,
then it will be-
I'm all for that. I believe you have to have goals.
Right, yeah, we
and
need,
have
that's
we
what
plans.
we
need, we need a roadmap,
Yes.
yeah.
Is there stipulation in the committee to, not, how many people that are not, community members, but how many people are part of the administration and or board members?
Yeah, so it has to be, it can't be more than 3 board members or
Yeah,
it becomes a
max.
quorum.
Otherwise, it's a board meeting. It's 3 board members, and then in the facilities meeting, Dr. O.C., Mr. M., right, who else? Eric, the head of facilities.
And we can also
And-
call in, like, if we're gonna do, I'm sorry, Mark, if we're
Yeah.
gonna just talk specifically elementary, one meeting, Mr. Dombrowski may be there, but Dr. Barnes and Carissa will be there, you know, because, and then we could adjust as necessary if we're doing something, very specific. to
I
get
guess
people
what,
out.
I guess the reason why I'm asking is because the committee isn't gonna go anywhere if there's not buy-in and, people don't believe that you really have an ear to the administration.
No, it is, and it's
Oh,
a
no,
feeder
that's-
yes,
system.
that's
No,
right.
Every
It's-
committee has an
It's
administrator.
better than,
Yeah.
what,
This
it's a-
committee-
very similar to what you're
Yeah.
doing right now. It's just gonna be 5 people.
Great.
And we
5
can't
committee
vote.
members.
We can't vote, right, 5
Right.
committee, and we can't
It's the
vote,
recommendations.
but,
Yes.
yeah,
Right.
no,
That's how we get
trust
a lot
me, you
of
wanna
things
do
done.
this and it will be fine.
That's great.
That's great.
Thank you. You actually did it on a policy meeting. Riveting.
But,
You
you know,
were
when we
riveted.
have that meeting, I'll show you all things like, what a rehearsal schedule looks like, what
Right.
it should look like. There's a lot of things where, what a rehearsal report should look like. Every single day, you should know what got accomplished that day. Like, I'm talking with,
Like a
Mr.
lesson
Dombrowski,
plan.
Like, it really
Right, yeah.
is,
We know that here in schools,
Yes,
yeah, there
there
should be an
is
objective
structure.
and, yeah.
and these shows are $28 million, we don't wing it. They are incredibly structured, and whether they are, like I said, 2 people or 40 people, it's the same structure.
Right.
So do we
Good.
have to establish
Okay.
which administrators on this now?
No.
Or we have to get our feelers out for who?
Yeah, right.
All right.
I think Mr. Dombrowski's, it's in his building.
Yeah.
Is, or Ms.
Lopez.
Lipinski,
Yeah,
one of those 2.
yeah.
She actually ran for a million years, she ran the drama program at the Bath Club Summer Camp, and she ran the end of the year show for how many years? I mean,
Long time.
20 years.
a really long time. So she really knows about like going out,
She's very
kids
good.
performing, she ran
Yeah,
the,
she's very
she was wonderful.
And there's some smart creative solutions to all the things. LIU is down the street, maybe there's some internship possibilities. Like, we can get creative.
Yeah,
Everything
that's
doesn't have to
great.
cost $1 million,
Right.
but we have to be striving for excellence.
Yes,
We love
good,
creative.
good, excellent. All right,
Right,
so
any
we need to vote on it
Other-
though, right?
Any other questions before we come to our vote? No? All right, all in favor? All right, very good.
Okay.
All right, is there anything else, everybody, or?
I think this is great, thanks.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One quick side note
Sure, of
about
course.
the sign in the front.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the sign that always looks like wet with,
Yeah, is there any?
it always looks like, right, like there's
about
moisture in
converting
there.
it into an electric?
That was on
Oh.
Mr. Danbuski's wish list.
I'm an
a few years ago.
anti-electric sign on the road, though. I am. I feel like it looks like a casino.
So-
I love the, and I was pro-traffic light,
Yeah, thank you for the traffic
yes,
light.
love the traffic light, but I do think that it is like so beautiful and there's so much nature there. I hate to have a big electronic sign right on the road.
What are we doing with this?
But there's one further in, right, there's that big booster club
That just, yeah.
thing that's up right now.
Is that permanent? With that one, big one, on
That's
wheels?
portable.
Portable.
But is it permanent, like, do we own that?
They own
We,
it.
they own it.
They
Yeah.
bought it.
So we have to get one, or we have to
Pretty
raise
much.
money. Annette, you need to fund
we
it.
have other-
Don't say that quite, yeah, we got to figure out how that's gonna be utilized,
So
yeah.
my biggest reason for talking about it is because there was no sign in front for the music band.
Okay,
And that
that's
was
important.
real, so.
And just because I'm
Yeah.
anti-sign doesn't mean that wins, by
Yeah.
the way, just,
I mean,
I'm
I
a vote of
understand,
one.
it doesn't have to be like the neon, you could do it
Yes.
more dimly lit. It's
Yeah.
just the idea that you could, it's marketing that is not being properly
I'm
utilized.
sure we can come up with a way
Yeah,
better.
and to,
I mean,
Mr.
I can
Monastero's
speak
point,
for
like
the
every
board.
time the
I'm
kids open their
thinking-
computers too, like there's messages that can come out. The Booster
Yeah.
Club has that new, they bought, the Sports Booster Club, the new thing for
Yeah, the floor.
the floor and the gym.
That'd be a way
And
to
you can
advertise.
advertise for shows at halftime too now, like it's pretty cool. There's some pretty
That would
amazing
be
things,
really
and they have kids, actually a club that will be,
And we need to, depending upon the show, advertise at the elementary levels. There's some
Right.
shows that are good to advertise and
Yeah.
some, it's not for them really,
Yeah.
and continue to do that.
Do they ever do, like, you know how the bands will, I mean, I know they just do this, not from the older grades, but like, you know, they'll do like a little performance the day of.
like a little preview.
They go to the
They go to the
elementary
elementary
schools, right?
schools,
Well,
yeah.
They-
Yeah.
If you finish the show, you can.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be cute, just to
So
have
even the
a few
seniors
kids come
didn't get a
and
show this
sing?
year. But, you
Yeah,
know,
we
like,
could
but
do
that,
that.
we're gonna stop all of that. We're actually gonna get on a real schedule
yes,
and do all
we
this
are.
stuff. I'll tell you, Mike Novick, I had a great conversation with him. He produced Glee, and he's an alumni here. He graduated in '97.
And
Margie Nicole?
yeah.
Well,
He produced Glee, yeah. He wrote a letter to the board
Mhm.
in 1996.
well, he's a newspaper.
About, the
newspaper.
school newspaper about like supporting the arts program. And I talked to him yesterday, he wrote a letter, I'll forward to you all, that's to the board, that is like, his kids are in lacrosse. And he's like, it's night and day. And he's like, I'm happy to help you guys out, because I know what it's like to be that kid. And it's not surprising that I did a show about kids that were like ignored in their high school arts program and made a lot of money off of it. So, you know, he's happy to help out, but he sits in both those worlds. He knows what it's like to have a Bongino, he knows what it's like to have full support, he's watching his kids do it, and he's willing to help us
Okay, great.
on this side of the arts, as an alumni and as someone who's seen it from both sides,
Oh, that's
so.
We are very lucky to have the community that we have, and the experts, we need to tap into those more. We have, right now,
Yeah.
I mean, just didn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Working
and
with-
that's sort of what Arts Booster wants to help with and tap into, but.
yeah, I should
I
know that I have
think
a
we
tech
need that.
background, hence my going with the AI solution. And I'll send you all
some resources, you know, a little education on the arts. I'm in an organization that's sponsoring a design initiative that shows all the jobs that happen, you know, on May 22nd at NYU. Any kid in this district, I told Ms. Oswald about it, to invite all of our students, and it has tutorials, and it has Academy Award winning designers, you know, that are gonna be keynoting it. The guy who designed Wicked and won the Academy Award, Paul Taswell, is gonna be keynoting it, and all of our students can come because it's a day off. But there's a lot of things that I can share with you guys that can just get you, including my TED Talk, which talks about the process of building
It's fantastic.
the show. So I'll share a bunch of resources.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you email these to me?
Yeah.
That'd be easier.
Okay, to adjourn?
Yep, I'm gonna take a motion to adjourn, but sorry to tell you, we're going to executive for purposes of legal, all right? So can I have first, Lisa? Alex, a second, all in favor? All right, so.
Thank you, everyone.
We're gonna do it in here.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah.